Let's get our first one here, sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Charlie in Starkville, Mississippi.
Jesus Christ.
The Clarion Ledger has reported that Ted DiBiase and his son Brett have been implicated in one of the biggest embezzlement schemes in Mississippi history. DiBiase's religious nonprofit organization has received $2.1 million in state welfare money since Brett DiBiase was hired at the Mississippi Department of Human Services. Living in Mississippi, I see people struggling to make it on a daily basis, and money like this is the only thing keeping them from being on the streets. Sorry for the lengthy email, but this hits close to home. What do you think about DiBiase and his son stealing over $2 million in welfare money
now, wait a minute,
from the
hold
people
on.
of Mississippi?
Suddenly, first I saw where they'd indicted the guy that was in charge of Mississippi welfare, and then Brett, DiBiase's son, was working for him, and he'd got some, and then all of a sudden DiBiase got some, but now stealing $2 million. Let's see where this ends up. I hate it because I like Ted DiBiase. What a great fucking talent. But here's another example of what religion can do to you or for you. People say that nobody will believe wrestling anymore, right? I say it's in the presentation. As MJF and Jungle Boy just proved. When you think about it, what on earth, what story, what fabrication, what con, what swerve, what lie, what untruth, mistruth, what on earth is more preposterous than the backstory of every organized religion on the face of this planet? Absolutely, completely preposterous. You would have to be a raving lunatic locked up in an insane asylum to believe at face value any of these stories. And yet, tens and hundreds of millions of people do, which is why the world is in the shape it's in. However, it's because it's in the presentation. They're completely the whole religious thing. I mean, down to the ceremonies at the Vatican in Rome, the pomp and the pageantry and the circumstance and the seriousness and the gravity given with, and just the way that it's been built up since the Dark Ages to be a sacred and serious thing. People buy it. They believe it. Same can be said about wrestling. When the presentation is wink, wink, nod, nod, and fucking, yeah, this is all supposed to be silly, you don't believe it. When it's not, you do. With religion, they don't break their fucking characters. They do not give up their gimmick for anything, even though level-headed people know that what's really going on, that the Catholics have systematically for years hidden child abuse, that all these other religions are crackpots. You watch South Park, you get a fucking good idea of the background of Mormonism and Scientology, but they don't fucking not kayfabe. Teddy apparently, I have no knowledge of this, but from what I'm reading in the papers, has gone from one worked business that wouldn't keep up their work to another one that does, and he's made $2 million out of it. So I don't know if he stole it or not, but in all honesty, religions pay no taxes, which is ludicrous because of all the fucking religious people, the Jim Bakkers and the Jerry Falwells and all the people that have made millions off of this and had air-conditioned doghouses and live in comfort while hungry people remain hungry and sick children remain sick. It's all a fucking con. It's all a scam. And I got to be honest with you, except for the fact that I'm not as sympathetic to this as I am when the religious groups take money from old people, like, because they want to get into heaven and they take their $10 when they've only got 15. That's a whole lot worse than scamming the state, because the state should know better. Because all these religious fucking con jobs should lose their tax exempt status because it's ridiculous. They should pay taxes like everybody else because they're a business like everybody else, unless they can prove they gave every penny that they took in away to feed people and clothe people and treat sick people. They've got a 6,000 seat church a few miles from here. It's as big as fucking Louisville Gardens. Probably cost 20 times to build. They could have fucking given that money to the Crusade for Children, and a lot of kids would have been happy for the next 40 years. But no, they got to have a place to go make believe that their invisible man in the sky really exists so they can feel good about themselves. You could do that in a barn. Why does it have to cost so much?
As an American, what do you find more offensive? Ted DiBiase potentially being involved in this, or Ted DiBiase accepting Skandar Akbar's oil money?
Well, I'd have to say that DiBiase accepting Akbar's oil money because he should have known. No, but anyway, I'm not trying to knock Ted, but religion's a racket, and level-headed people know that. And that doesn't mean that you're crooked because you are religious and go to church. That means that most people running the fucking shit are probably crooked because that's where the money is. The money's not in going. The money's in getting more people to go, if you haven't noticed. So I'm not knocking the people that go. I'm just knocking the people that run it. And besides the fact that they never break character and they never break kayfabe and they're completely serious about their obviously it's the ultimate seriousness. It's life and death. It's heaven and hell. It's devil and God. And they keep that up. They also indoctrinate the children from an early age. And as we've mentioned, when your parents are saying something's true, then you're likely to believe it when you're a little kid. And that's the way that religion hangs on, despite all evidence to the contrary, and things like, I don't know, fucking science, because people don't want to call their parents liars. They never break their gimmicks. They never break their characters. They never fucking do not kayfabe, and they fucking indoctrinate their children, and that's why it's been able to hang on so long, despite the fact that all organized religion and the idea of an invisible, fictitious, supreme being has been detrimental to the human race since we have fucking crawled up out of the muck, which has led to more homicides, genocides, wars, suppressions, oppressions, various other ill things to the human race through the dawn of time. Religion. But they do keep good kayfabe.
Remember when Jake found God? Was there a bigger work than that? Was there a bigger work than that?
Oh, good God. Yeah, he found God, and he also found the fucking house in the hood off the side of 95 in fucking Stamford. Just when he wanted to find the devil. Made the Godwins take him there one time on the way to the garden. They're like, fuck.
You're serious about where?
Yes, no, the Godwins, Jake, if you get off I-95, or at least back in those days, if you go to the right, you go into like ritzy, Stamford, Connecticut, big buildings. If you go to the left, you go to the fucking hood. The Godwins, because Jake didn't have a driver's license, had to take Jake. I used to have to drive him to Vince's, right? They had to take Jake to the garden one day, and he's in the office that brief period of time. He was in the office, and he made him go to the left, stop at the fucking house, make sure he was all set for the garden. And they're like, fuck, this guy's in the office. He's making us go to the hood to get shit.
All right, well, our next...
He never asked me, and I would not have complied. I think he knew that I was not a fucking fan of most of the neighborhoods in Connecticut and was not going into that one.